Okay, back again. So what we're looking at is obviously the combi frame, and I've put it back down on the ground. Well, it's just on rollers, really, little trolleys. I put this up. It's just got a couple of tacks in it. I had the front nose on, and I'm just trying to see, how I'm traveling. It looks like the frame on that side is racked further than I thought it was. So now that I've got the vehicle on trolleys, I've measured all the 4 points to the ground, and what I've ended up with is a slight buckle on this side. So where the frame joins the new frame, they're at the same height, but as they come forward, where the bolt holes are for the front beam, they're higher. So one of the line-up holes is actually 1 whole centimetre higher than the other side, and of course as you go further it lifts it up even more. So I'm 2.5 centimetres higher on this rail at the tip, at the front, so that's just not acceptable at all. So what I'm going to have to do, because I was looking at the floor and thinking, oh, it's a bit jacked sideways, so yeah, it was a bit hard to get my head around it when I was sort of up on its side, but not sure what happened, but I think the frame moved somehow, but that's okay. I mean, a lot of this stuff isn't even finished welded yet. Like this whole section here isn't even welded. All along there, this isn't finished welded at all, so it's not that big a deal. I think I can probably get over this quite easily. I was going to do something else with this corner, and so I might just cut that away, cut it all, leave the bottom weld, and then just bring it down. So it's obviously, I'll laser level the rest of the frame before I do this, and then set up a laser level at the front into it, and then just get it to where it's right and make sure the lengths are the same and all that sort of jazz. So, but that's okay. I mean, I didn't expect it to come perfectly straight up. I mean, you've got to realise what I'm dealing with here. It's it's basically just a few rusty old bits of a car that I've joined together in the centre, and my best intentions were to get it perfect at the beginning, but things happen. I mean, I had to cut some of this away and work on this, so it may have tweaked a little bit there, but I've picked it up now, so I'm not too far in. Why I've sort of I'm at this point now, so I've made this floor, obviously. It's not cleaned or anything, so but it's got all the beads. This has got a little bit more than it should do, but I don't really think that matters. This side's as correct as I could get it. I think I'm a little bit off key with this steering box hole, so if worst comes to worst, I can always cut it out and make another hole in another patch and sort of slide it around once I get the steering box in till it's perfect, and then just weld that in. I think that's what I'll end up doing anyway. I mean, I spent a bit of time, not a lot of time, just a bit of time rolling this edge over, making it nice and strong, but I mean, yeah, it's okay. But anyway, back to what I was doing. So to start off with, I'm trying to make the fascias, the valances for this. There's 2, and there's one that's sort of on the inside of the vehicle. You can see at your feet. It's it's that piece there. It's been cut in half, but there it is. And of course this was all rusted out anyway, so I had to make those parts, which are here. And I've got the recess as well for the holes, the bolt holes. So this is just the front facing of it. I haven't got the back facing yet because I can't quite get into there, and it's very flimsy, so it's pointless finalising something if it's just crooked anyway. So small steps, sometimes backwards. But anyway, what I've done is made these. I've left this sort of unfinished here. That's that section there that's spot welded onto this valance, and it's all rusted away anyway, but I managed to work out where the beads were, and it's got a joggle. So I've made this. It's the correct profile, correct height, correct thickness. It's actually thicker than I think it should be, and it's got the nice flange on that side. And I'm just in the process of getting my measurements. And it's looking pretty good. I mean, I haven't wheeled this out or anything, so you know it's going to have little hammer imperfections in it. But I don't think I'm going to worry too much about that. It's just got the correct roll on the top, and it hasn't been ground down after I welded it and all that stuff. So for me at the moment, I'm just trying to get something that's stable, and then I can sort of work. The idea was to get this mounted up on the floor so that I could make the other valances that go on the front, and also the boxed in sections for the front of the frame rail. So I couldn't really go any further until I had this completed, or at least half made and clamped on. So it's only clamped at the moment, and I've just got it on a little rotating stool so I can move it around. It's easier to get all these measurements. So it keeps wanting to pop out of place on me, but it pretty much looks how it should. It's got a slightly more domed profile than this one did, but I'm guessing this got a bit flattened originally. Being so rusty, it's probably lost its curve. And what I did is I actually matched this to the floor that I've made. So because I didn't have a pattern for a floor, I was just going off every measurement that I could get, and this is what I came up with. It's fairly close, I think, to what I could find. I physically haven't touched another floor pan or measured one, so that being said, this isn't perfect, but it's definitely a big saving of around $500. So for me, that's a lot of money, and it allows me to continue on. And you know, like I always say to myself, I'd much rather learn how to do something than just pay money for it. So anyway, I haven't finished these off yet because I didn't know where the cutouts were. Apparently there's some little triangulated cutouts either side, so it was a bit hard to make this, and plus it came out too far, so, and I didn't know how far exactly it went. So this was just literally the width of the sheet metal that I've got, so I worked with that, and it's coming out along nicely. So this profile is matched to this one. I know it's not it because this wasn't exact. I tried to get it as exact as I could to that, but I think I'm about half a centimetre, and I really don't think that's going to matter if you consider the fact that this will be clamped to this and then it will be welded. So I'll probably come from this side and drill this. I'll drill this and then weld the floor into it. or vice versa, or I could just weld along the top edge and then put seam sealer along it. I know it's probably not, you know, concourse, but this vehicle is nowhere near going to be concourse. It's going to be just turn it back into something that represents what it is. So yeah, I'm getting there. I've tried to keep all of these little tag marks in place so they're all exactly where they were, and I'm just trying to make sure that I get the right distances now. So the distance from these up to, you know, somewhere and across, and make sure it's square. I'm just trying to steady this up, because in my earlier videos what I did is, this is so rusty that I just basically just got chunks of offcuts and just started welding them to bits that I could weld to. And that, because it was like literally a wet blanket in the breeze. It was really bad. So I mean, I've had to throw one through here to stop this breaking off, because it was about to break off, and I need all these profiles to make this stuff. So this one's gone. Unfortunately, I don't have the correct profile for this window frame, but I do have the windows, so I think between the two I'll be able to work it out. I've got a height here, roughly. So I've got a height. I'll make a paper template from the window glass and the frame that's still on it, and then put it in here, and then bend this back out, and then tack it on, and, you know, go through all of that. It's quite major, this, but it's, as I said, it's a challenge to myself, and I think I'm going to be alright. But yeah, I'll just sort of show you this in this video. Yeah, so it's not ground. The only thing I didn't put in was the dimples here. There's 4 dimples, and I've got a mark. Oh, I don't have it marked out there, but they are marked out. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I can literally get my gas axe, my blowtorch, and heat this cherry hot and just hit it in with a lump of steel, and I can make that perfect. But I think I'll just leave that until I have the other valances, for lack of a better term, right now made, and the bracketry that goes here. So the idea would be to make the other ones, and then when I work out where it sits, either this way, this way, this way, or this way, then I can worry about reinforcing. And I don't really think that's a big deal on this anyway, because this is thicker steel than the original. So I'm going for no flex. You can see this is already a lot stiffer compared to what it was. You can see through there, like up underneath the window, that's just gone all the way through. So I think it's held on just where that wiper mount is there. So the idea is just to keep it all together as much as I can, and then just pick at it. You know, this has all got to be remade, so this has come apart, but I'm just going to pick at it. So the idea that I've got in my head is just to get it up on the vehicle, and then start making the boxing in section underneath. Get that on there. Obviously I've got to fix this frame height first, but this is giving me a bit of confidence now to move forward on this, because now I feel like it's stabilised. I haven't welded it, so I'm just going to leave the clamps on it for now, and I want to do a bit more research and try and find some more geometry on these vehicles, because I can't seem to find. I suppose it's because they didn't think that vehicles would end up with the roofs taken off. They didn't bother the geometry from, say, the hinge, the post hinge, to another post hinge inside the vehicle. I can't seem to find that, and I'm guessing that it's I'm guessing that it's square to this. These two beams are parallel. I'm guessing that, but I really don't want to take a chance and weld something in and realise that it's out by 4 mils, which makes the doors just totally horrendous, because that's one of my biggest fears as well. Because if you look at this side had no hinge on it. This was what was left. That was what was left of the hinge post that I've cut off here. So what I've done is I've had to, you know, a lot of measuring, obviously, and this was the only hinge that I had. I managed to free it up actually. This is all gone though, but I'll be cutting that and putting a thicker plate in there, obviously, for where the bolts go into the door. So that, and obviously where that door, I've got the doors, they're just gone as well. So I think making the frame and the body, frame then body, and then worry about doors and windows and that sort of stuff after is the way to go, rather than try and make doors and windows look nice and then work on body. That's what I've done in the past. So but anyway, yeah, that's literally all I had to work with, and I didn't know the distance from there to the floor of the vehicle. So, you know, it's all a bit up in the air right now. But yeah, I'll just show you this. I did put it in another video, but that's what it looks like. Not too bad. I know there's going to be a plate over this, so I didn't bother grinding this back too perfect. I just basically hit it with a grinder and just put some paint on it just to stop the welded areas rusting. So this is where the seam is. It's fairly close. I think I lost a bit of distance up here, but as I said, this is going to be rolled over. There's a rolled edge here, so that won't matter at all. And it looks pretty good. I think there's a slight curve that goes up, and I've managed to keep that, and then keep this angle. So if you think about it, there's a lot of different angles at play here. You've got the angle that comes up here, and then this joins it, so you can see where one of these joins it. Then that comes up, there's another angle, and then it goes along, and then there's this rolled edge here. Then you've got this in here, and then you've got the roll this way, and all that time you're trying to keep it dead square. So anyone who makes this sort of stuff knows how difficult that is, and I'm no professional. I'm just you know, someone sitting in his garage trying to get it done. So I mean, this is all, I'm trying not to knock any of this paint off, but sometimes I've got to, you know, grind it back a little because of the welding that's involved. But most of this will end up being replaced anyway, I think. I'm going to try and just get away with just fixing the areas that I absolutely have to. But in saying that, you just never know. I can't really see up inside here right now, and I don't want to try and... I had one point where the nose skin was held onto here. It's actually popped off now, so the only part that the nose is held onto this is up there where that window washer mounting is. So yeah, this plane here seems to be, it seems to just be perfect, and I'm hoping that that's how it's supposed to be. I would say that it'd be square. You'd think that there'd be a square line this way and then a square line this way for a door hinge. Everything else seems to have a curve to it. So yeah. Anyway, I'll continue on.